Welcome back to the At Home with Robee show. I am Trent Haston, President and CEO of the Robee family of companies, along with my guest host today, Dominick Thompson, hailing from Robee Handyman.
Woo, 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 woo.
And we were just in segment one. We were just talking about some cool things that happened in my life this week, and we left the segment with my dog's name. Piper is the dog president. Everything in my house has a business, political hierarchy.
There's a structure.
Right? So she is the dog president. Has been named. It's the family's dog, but she is the president. And we wanted to name it Wiley because we live on Lake Wiley. And my wife said she also looked up Eric Church style names. You know, she looked up Chief, but we have another family member that has a dog named Chief because that's Eric Church's nickname, his grandfather's nickname. So Wiley, and then she said, well, I think since Pipes is the president and her name is really Piper, we're going to call him Wiley Pipes.
I love it. I want to see that org chart at some point.
That dog is high up for an animal.
That chain of command.
For a beast of burden.
That's great.
So Dominick, special time in your life here. You are now married. Is this your first or second tour married?
First or second tour married? This is my second and final tour.
Final.
Married. Final forever. Final. Doesn't get more final.
So Dominick, why don't you refresh everybody? I know you've told this on the show. Before you started working with Robee, you signed up to the military.
That's right. Yeah, so I was in the car business for about 10 years, and I never sold cars. I always sold parts and service, but got to a point where I wanted to make a change and get into something I was passionate about. And through knowing some people and walking into a recruiter's office on Park Road, I found out that the Air Force actually has some career fields in construction, which I had no idea. I always thought that construction in the military was left up to the Army Corps of Engineers and Navy Seabees. I just figured that if you're in the Air Force, you probably fly a plane, which over the years I've been told that probably 1% of the Air Force actually flies a plane. The other 99% of the people are there to help support the folks who fly the plane. So at any rate, it afforded me an opportunity to change careers. And so I joined in 2010, had to wait just a little bit to go off to basic training. And so I went to basic training. I'm 30 years old. It's kind of funny. I was, in my own mind, I'm really not old, and I don't feel old. I feel great. At 30 years old, I'm thinking, hey, this basic training thing, not too big of a deal. But I get in there, I'm literally out of 52 people in my flight. That's what we call it at basic training, your platoon or whatever you
Air
hear
Force
about.
name for
it's
a
called
group
a
of
flight.
people.
Yes, in basic training. So out of 52 kids, I was the oldest in pretty much in an entire flight, which surprised me a little bit because I don't view myself as old. But I'm in there with 18-year-old and 21-year-old kids, and so I was kind of a little bit of the daddy bird a little bit in the flight. So,
30.
But don't ask them about my PT scores because they certainly weren't matching up with my age or my position. I'm numero uno or dos.
Oh, wow.
In terms of PT.
You're getting a little braggy here on your physical training.
I got to brag about something.
Man.
But yeah, so I got out of my training, my construction school, which we do with the Army and with the Navy down in Gulfport, Mississippi. I got out of that school and through a mutual connection, got in touch with Dave McGuire, who's been on the show before, and had a phone interview. And then my in-person interview when I got out of school, I'll never forget, was with you and Dave. And I heard somebody pull down the driveway. And I don't know if you remember this. You have a great memory, so you probably do. But you knew your dad had just pulled in the driveway talking about Papa Ron. And you said, go out back and there's an old man out there. Give him a hand with whatever he needs. And I'm wearing a shirt and a tie. And I'll help with anything. Doesn't matter to me. So I went out back and here he is. He's looking at me, cross-eyed, of course. He's never seen me before. I said, Trent just told me to come out here.
You are a squirrely-looking little fella.
Well, that's true. But he's looking at me cross-eyed, and I said, well, Trent just told me to come out here and give you a hand with anything you needed. He looked at me, he said, where'd you come from? And if you know Papa Ron, you're not at all surprised that he would ask me with a blindsided question like that. But at any rate, so that was my first interview with the company, and you rolled the dice on me, quite frankly. You You took a chance.
So what did he let you help him?
He allowed me to help him pull a lawnmower off the back of his truck.
Pull a lawnmower off the back.
That's right. So we pulled the lawnmower off the back and threw it up underneath the crawl space under the house on Harding Place. And
Dominick, I don't care how tough or independent anybody is. Everybody always needs some help.
That's true.
And it takes a humble man, a good leader, to let people help them.
I agree.
To show something, to let a kid in a suit that don't know what the heck he's doing help somebody. So my dad always knew that setup was coming. We would do it to each other. That's just I miss that. I try to do it with other people now, though, as I walk through the building sometimes and cut up. And you, being a veteran of our business, kind of know it's coming or expect something coming. Right?
Something's coming. Absolutely.
Well, that's wonderful. So. In those of you, everybody, if you listen to the show, know my dad was a Marine, served 2 tours in Vietnam. Actually, served his brother's tour for him and got a Purple Heart. So the song I try to listen to every day is a song by Trace Adkins called Semper Fi.
Love it.
And I know you're in the Air Force, but my daddy was a Marine, and I love that song. So it's very special. So I did listen to it on the way to the studio today. So when do you leave?
So I'm leaving. My last day at work is going to be next Friday, March 3rd, and then I'm kind of out the door the week after that, driving to Charleston. I'm stationed at Joint Base Charleston, so I'll be driving down there the following week to report for duty, and I'll have about 3 or 4 weeks worth of training. We do some fun training. It's like summer camp, so it's a lot of fun. So we'll do that for 3 or 4 weeks before I get out the door.
And where are you going?
Well, I couldn't tell you that if I knew.
Okay.
But I don't know. They're going to tell us about 2 or 3 weeks before we go, but it's going to be very sandy and very
Folks,
warm.
it's breaking news. He's going to Poland. No. Okay. Well, so let me ask you. Within the last year, or a little over a year ago, we siloed out our handyman division officially. Like, stopped talking about it.
We talked about
and
it for
stopped
years.
doing it as a brand and got over our egos and said we can do handyman better if we build a division that simply does handyman.
Sure.
And for our existing clients. Very hard for a family business to do. This is something I probably helped me get across the line as a leader or encourage others tactfully was probably from one of my family business trips or multiples of them. And we also talk monthly on the phone. But we've done that about a year ago. You got your baby here, and now you're leaving it.
Well, I've got somebody who's going to kind of carry
No, it's going to fall apart, right?
No, definitely not going to fall apart.
So it's
when you're prepared and you got
foresight. So it's going
foresight.
to improve. Your division, business lesson today, your division is going to improve while you're gone.
The way I see it, if it doesn't improve, I haven't done a good job.
That's it. Got
to put the right people in place, anticipate what's coming, be prepared for it, enable them to execute, and trust them to do so. So that's what we're doing.
So how has your first year organizing and building Robee Handyman gone?
It's been awesome. We don't want to grow just for the sake of growth, but we truly have grown out of demand that has come to us and that we've created, and it's been awesome. We started this division with a superintendent, Mark Etheridge, who was a very experienced technician in the field.
In my eyes is a kid, but he
looks like a baby
he is
face.
A young man. I enjoy him very much.
He's a young man and looks like a baby, but he has a mustache. It's kind of weird, but he's a great, talented guy. I started with Mark and myself, and we had somebody in the office helping us about 20 hours a week, and that was February 8th, 2016, and today we have 5 people in the field working full-time, just doing handyman work all day, every day. That 20-hour person in the office is now 40 hours a week, and including myself, we have 3 people working on the estimating and sales side. So it has been explosive, and it's been more than that. It's been a lot of fun. It's been awesome.
Isn't it funny how managing services like handyman is so much different than managing a large remodel or a bathroom remodel, or, a full throttle 6 or 8 week project,
completely different.
or a year-long project.
Absolutely, and I've kind of had the opportunity to be part of both, and it's been a blast. We're having a ton of fun.
So, and you have the fortunate. We'll talk a little bit about Patrick. He's not here to defend himself, but y'all get to lean on each other because y'all are both service guys.
Sure. We're pretty much doing the same kind of thing.
Yep.
So it's great to be able to leverage the experience and knowledge across the company.
Okay. When we come back, we want some of your handyman experience to talk about what people need to get prepared for the spring. So we'll be back with Dominick Thompson from Robee Handyman. Stay tuned.